Hello, hello. Welcome back, my beautiful people. If people feel the need to buy a microphone and put hate out there in the world and shame people and bring people down and tear people up and divide society way more than it is, then why not can I do the same and lift people up, build the community, speak my mind, and talk about myself. I feel like I'm talking about myself purposefully, and I'm gonna die on that hill, baby. Yeah. Welcome to the Dazed and Confused podcast with your host, Diana Cano, where we normalize being dazed and confused at any stage in life. To be curious and to seek constant improvement, everyone is welcome here. So, having spilled my poison, let's move on. So, we've talked about so many travels here in this podcast, but do you want to know about the first one ever? Like the first one ever, the travel of the travels. Grab your popcorn, tea, or coffee because I am about to take you into this journey. Okay, picture this. The year is 2012. One Direction is more contagious than the flu. Gigi's identity finally has been revealed. And in case you've lived under a rock, Gigi stands for Gossip Girl. And for context clues, we are on the red era. So you get the timeline, okay? I am a beautiful little 14-year-old Mexican girl living the life, about to turn 15. 15. Turning 15 is a big fucking deal if you're Mexican. Let me Mexican explain it to you. Americans have what it's the equivalent of the 15-year celebration in our culture. I think it's called something like Sweet 16, something like that. We have this beautiful, archaic ritual custom that comes from a period of historical times where we introduce women to society and we show off to the community that we are no longer little girls. We are now women. Little women. Walking. The background of this archaic ritual is not the importance, okay? Not here, not now, at least. The only thing that matters when you're 14 turning 15 that year, it's prepare for your 15th birthday. Boy, does your friends do not play a huge role in that decision. I mean, it's only natural. It is only natural for teenagers to look validation in their peers. I was certainly not different. Whilst I have always have a strong opinion about so many things, I was still very young and impressionable. I was looking acceptance from my friends, and I did care what other people thought. Maybe not to the extent of changing myself and fitting in, but to the extent that celebration was causing me a lot of anxiety because it is a bill fucking deal. Who has the biggest party? Who has the biggest guests? And only having biggest guests, but that young people have fun in that party. The ratio from young people to old people in the dance floor matter. It did, absolutely, 100%. Whoever's telling you, it's lying to you. But whatever. Good for you, new kids, if you guys don't care about that. But back then, there was a problem if there was more old people in that dance floor than younger people. Closer and closer we got to my birthday, the closer I was to a panic attack. No, just kidding. I was just super anxious. I remember that. There were so many good parties and others horrible. And the conclusion that I made up at 15 years old was that the parties that I have deemed horrible were by the kids who didn't had or invited many kids. It sucked. Like, it sucked so much. My parents were all on board, and they wanted to host a 15 party, and they wanted the whole charade, like the whole, mass celebration, and like, the dance with the chambelanes, and the cringy first dance that they do. Oh, they wanted all of it, and they kept pushing me, and they kept hyping me up, and I just kept refusing. Thankfully, I was not alone in this matter. I had a best friend who agreed with me. So she decided that for her 15th birthday, she was gonna go to Europe, to London, to a study abroad program that costed almost the same as hosting a party. Because fuck that, we were not about to be those loser kids that spent that much money in a party that was just for the family. Heck no. And you know that phrase that the parents like to throw at you? If your friend jumps into a bridge, would you do it too? Yes, I would. Probably not now. So, until Luisa decided to do that, it created that possibility for me. So I decided to come up to my parents and tell them that instead of doing all that and wasting all that money on that party, for one day, for one night only, that if they could give me as a birthday present a trip to London instead, to a study abroad program. And whilst Luisa and I did not end up going into the same study abroad program, we did end up going the same year to Europe that summer. Growing up, I never felt like I fit in with the other people of our school, and Luisa was always the most amicable and relatable. I did not feel like I related to the other kids. She was able to fit in places where I wasn't. So I ended up going to a different study abroad program than Luisa's, and it was with my former school that I was enrolled with prior to the one that I was attending where I met Luisa. In that summer, I went to a study abroad program to London, and I studied British English in the Culford boarding school in Suffolk, England. So my experience is entirely different from Luisa's. I don't know how she remembers hers, but mine was amazing. The cool thing about that program is that it was a melting pot. So from different schools from Mexico, there were also international students. And specifically, the boys from Italia. Chef's kiss. That was the summer that I allegedly gave my first kiss to a very cute Italian boy. And I say allegedly because it was not my first kiss. But since nobody's gonna know ever, till this day, until the day that I die, he was my first kiss. It's pledged, and if Amber Heard can use conversely pledge and donate, then I can conversely use pledge and was my first kiss. Fair is fair. But that's not the most important part of the thing. The most important part is that I met a lot of people, that it was my first time, outside of the country and on the other side of the globe. And I was so amazed of how big the world seemed to me back then that I started questioning things, and I attribute that to this trip. Like, I started questioning things like, what? Like, what? I can't even give you an example, because I remember feeling like, what even is reality? Like, I'm over there rotting in my room reading novels when somebody is out here walking through the London Eye. The London fucking Eye. It's gonna be hard for some people to understand, especially if you live here in America, because America's a first world country and a lot of people buy into the propaganda and like it has its beautiful and landslides or whatever. But when you're from a third world country like I was, or like I am, there's no taking it back, I was born in it. You grow up idolizing the colonizers, like European countries. So the London fucking Eye was a fucking big deal. And I questioned my life, I questioned my religion, I questioned the demanded expectations that they have from me. Not only society, but my parents, my religious school, the fucking nuns that I hated. I started questioning everything. And I remember after I came back, I was so excited that I had even more novels to read. That, I also developed that, like, passion for reading. I feel like it really solidified thanks to that trip, because it was as if I was mentally traveling and leaving adventures through the pages. So at that time, it was supposed to be a one-time deal, London, that study abroad program. It was such an amazing rush of endorphins that I feel like I got addicted. I really got hooked on. And thanks to that, like a junkie, it got me addicted to reading. And I remember feeling like at that moment where I was not certain about anything, I feel like the only thing that I was certain was that I wanted to do it again. I wanted to travel again, and I wanted to see more of the world. I wanted to explore. I feel like instead of being a hater, I'm much like a lover. Like, I feel like I really love seeing a bunch of, like travel with me or travel accounts, and even solo travel accounts, because I remember being 15 and being like, I want to do this. Like, I want to do this. I want to pick up and live my life and, start traveling the world and live all these experiences and meet all other people and get out of my context, my little bubble that I grew up in. So now looking back as I'm recording this episode, I feel like this is what I have to tell you. I feel called to tell you that the moment that we have these sudden shifts of reality, that let's call them epiphanies or spiritual awakenings, I feel like we have to pursue those instances, because so many great things are born out of it. I invite you to redefine what you call success, because this is a moment in my life that I would say this is what success feels like and how success looks like to me. Learning from these experiences, I would like to reshape what success is to us, to each single one's individually, not mainstream media tells us. So this is how travel got me into personal growth. And if there's a trip, a destination that you've been wanting to explore or visit for a really, really long time, then this is your sign to do it. This is your sign to plan it, do it. You'll never know where that will lead you. And you won't regret doing it. I guarantee you. You won't regret doing it, but you can spend your entire life regretting not doing it. Vivere senza rimpianti. Live without regrets. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you like this episode, give us a like, a share, or a review on Spotify, or wherever it is you're listening. Make sure to subscribe to the show in iTunes or Spotify so you'll never miss a show. If you'd simply like to tell a friend about the show, that will help us out too. If you share on Instagram, don't forget to tag me. I love to see your thoughts and insight. Have a wonderful week. Sending you energetic strength your way, no matter what you're going through. I believe in you, so fight back. Be sure to tune in for our next episode, and I'll see you in the next one.